We heard a story recently that you helped one of your clients from the fashion industry earn £105,000 in a single day. Can you tell us how and share a little bit of your process?
I wish more people would think bigger as to what they can do. I was even speaking to a friend of mine the other day, and he was doing an equity scheme for one of his team members. And I said to him, okay, just send me like the breakdowns and then I'll go through it and I'll analyze it. Because this is one of the things that on a more advanced level, we end up supporting our clients with often. And he said it so that at 50K per month profit, this is Aussie dollars, okay, this person's gonna get this percentage. And at 75K, this percentage. And I was like, dude, you could do that in a day. Like, you don't set your goals so low. And he was saying to me, I just need to get into your level of abundance thinking. And I don't have an exact answer, but let me tell you this. There are so many people in this world. There are so many people that need help. And even if you have a very small section of an audience and a market, oh my gosh, the amount of money that actually is there for you to go ahead and make. And I think it really is a case that as you make money, you then realize how easy it is.
Hello, everybody. This show has been created to inspire you to take action.
Celebrating and reframing what success looks like.
To be the best version of ourselves that we can be.
And we have incredible speakers for you tonight.
Hello, everyone. I'm Susanna Kennedy, and this is my lovely co-host, Lauren Dallas. And this is, of course, the Future Females Show.
As you all know, this show is about celebrating, but also reframing what success looks like and sharing the stories of women who are really changing the game in their industries. And this interview is doing exactly that. I'm so excited to be joined by Lauren Tickner, who is many things, but most recently was named as Forbes Magazine's #1 online coach in 2021. The London Stock Exchange called her a marketing genius. She is founder and CEO of Impact School and Impact School podcast, and essentially spends her days empowering companies to deliver life-changing results globally.
She blows our mind. We are really so excited to have Lauren with us here today. So Lauren, welcome to the show. Please tell us a little bit about how you got on this journey, because I've heard some crazy stats about, and stories about you being 17 when you launched your first business, and at 21 hitting 7 figures in your business. So tell us, how did that all happen?
So the first million was age 23. That's when I officially became a millionaire, that title, whatever. But guys, thank you so much for having me, Lauren, Susanna. I think what you're doing is so amazing, empowering women to step outside what's typically classed as possible for themselves. Because I don't know about you, but whenever I was first beginning my business, which was simply online fitness coaching, people thought I was crazy, even just for having these ideas and these visions for wanting to do something more. So I really started because as a kid, I remember moving from one school to the next, and I essentially started that school a couple of years after most other people had. So I went in late, everyone had already made friends, and I was friends with a lot of the girls, but I went to this party one day, and I was by no means massively overweight, but I was a little bit larger than the rest of the girls. They were all very skinny, small, dainty girls. And I get to the party, and age 15, right? Age 13, you're going through puberty. So my forehead was a bit shiny. And I remember all the boys in that school were just chanting, Mackie D's, Mackie D's, Mackie D's, because my forehead was greasy and I wasn't wearing a load of makeup like everybody else. And from that point forth, I felt so out of place. And my younger brother, 2 years younger than me, he has epilepsy and autism. So I was always used to, my parents pushing him around in his wheelchair. So people always naturally were just staring. And I think from that moment on, I realized I cannot care about what people think about me, because people are always going to have negative connotations of you, no matter what you do. I was there, I showed up to the party to try and make friends before I started at this new school, but I was hit by people bullying, essentially. So a couple of years later, I then lost weight in a really unhealthy way. This place where I grew up, everybody had very disordered eating and they wanted to be skinny. And I found this whole dark side of Instagram when Instagram was new, like this thinspo stuff. And it's really bad. I think it's even banned now on IG, or you have to like go through some parental controls to get on it, which I think is a good thing. And then long story short, I ended up getting into fitness, having lost weight in a really unhealthy way. I was having panic attacks every day. And I realized if I want to be successful, I can't keep having panic attacks every day. And that was how I started my Instagram fitness journey, found the positive side of it, and ended up building a fitness company, which helped thousands and thousands and thousands of women become stronger, both physically and mentally. So that's why I really love what you ladies are doing, because it is so in alignment with my vision. And even now, going to events where typically I'm the only woman that speaks there and the audience is full and the only women that are there are like the girlfriends of agency owner dudes, right? I want more women to enter this space because it's so possible for them. So thank you for having me.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. It's so good to have you here. At 17, starting this out on did you start on Instagram? Was that your first platform that you kind of launched your business on?
Yeah, so it was interesting because I think my first clients actually from Snapchat, but it's because I told them to email me because they were DMing me. So even all the way back then, I realized the power of one-to-one messaging and one-to-one conversation. And so now my whole thing is building systems around the one-to-one. So I call it scaling intimacy. And so building systems around that, building team around that. And that's how I've really been able to exponentially grow. But yeah, it was like the audience was growing on IG. And then I started driving that traffic to Snapchat. And that's how it kind of randomly all began. But I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, yeah, just send me an email and I'll send you my prices, which obviously is the worst thing to do. And so I was by no means perfect. And it's definitely been learning as chipping away as I've gone, you know, I didn't figure it all out from day one, that's for sure.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure none of us had a clue what we were doing on day one.
We definitely
probably still don't. I think obviously Susanna and I know quite a lot about what you offer now and have even been through some of your trainings. But just to set the scene before we get into some stories, can you share what your business model is now?
Totally, yes. So every single client that we work with, we hand select because we don't just take on everyone. So in the past, I used to just accept any client. I remember back when I was in fitness, I was helping women, right, with powerlifting style training. And then I would help them learn how to track their macros, eventually get off tracking macros so they knew what they were eating on a daily basis, yada, yada, yada. Now, I remember one time I had this guy come to me. His name was Steve. And Steve wanted to run a marathon, right? And at this point, I was like, yeah, I mean, fitness, right? I can help him. So I signed him up and I can't remember how much he paid me. But let's just say, for simplicity's sake, it was like £1,000, okay? So I remember one Sunday, I literally spent the whole day studying how to carb load for a marathon, right? I hated running at this time. I really, really hated it. And this was just not interesting to me. And he was a guy, right? He wasn't a woman. He was the only guy that I'd ever worked with. So I think I spent about 3 or 4 weeks working with him. It was monotonous. It was grueling. It was painful. I did not enjoy even speaking to him, I must say. That sounds savage, but let's be real. We all have those clients, right? Or at least when you don't select them.
We'd rather you be real, so be honest.
Some people won't say this, but it's true. We all have that when you don't select the clients properly. And I would dread these conversations. Anyways, these weeks go by, I waste hours and hours of time that I could have spent on bettering my real offerings to the women that I could truly serve. But then not only was it the time, it was also the energy. Because after I got off a phone call with him, or after I'd spent time studying marathon training, I was drained, you know, and I didn't want to do something else. So then it was both of those things that I was basically losing, the energy, time. And then I ended up refunding him because I didn't feel good for this transaction. So I said, okay, I'm going to give you back the money. Like I've seen this person on social media, have it with them. Maybe they're going to be able to help you better. And then he ended up getting help with my friend. And actually it worked for him. And then I got my energy and time back. So now at Impact School, we are very selective about who we work with because we guarantee all of our client results. So we only have 2 offerings. That's it. We used to only have 1 because I believe get your company to 6 figures per month, net profit, 3 months in a row, then add another offering. We were doing significantly more than that when I added a second offering, okay? And the reason I do this is because, frankly, 100K per month is actually so much more doable than you would think. It's like if you say in your mind, okay, I want to make 100K. Many people think I want to make 100K per year or per quarter or maybe even per month. But when you just say I want to make 100K, it's not even about the time period that that's going to happen. It's about the alignment of various different things going on in the universe at one moment for that to actually manifest into the real world. And so then when you operate in that level of frequency, like I'm a 100K person, right? It could happen in a day, right? And I've seen this with my clients. I've seen this many, many different people. I've seen this with myself. And so now the reason why we have 2 offerings is because we then realized that we were having a retention offer anyways for our clients that wanted to stay with us, which we didn't have in the past. So we were the opposite of retention, right, is loss, okay? And so at the end of the day, I didn't want to lose people because then they go out in the world and then they may jump in with the wrong person because we all call ourselves like the paramedic. And new clients come to us and we have to fix so many problems. So we don't want them to come to us, then go away, and then they go with somebody else and then they get scammed or whatever. So then come back, start from square one. Instead, we made this retention offer and then we realized, oh, actually we can just bring people directly into that offering, the more advanced one, people that are already in, let's just say 20, 30K per month profit. And so that's what we do. So basically clients come in, they are agencies, they have coaching programs, online courses, info products, memberships. We then build systems around all of those areas, align systems are designed for them. Because when they first come in, we do a full analysis of what they're doing, what they want to be doing. So we tailor customize it to them. And then we're able to guarantee their success in working with us. And the guarantee that they have depends on which stage that they're at. But for most of our clients, we will either guarantee that they will definitely make back double their investment, or they will definitely 2 times the revenue that they have when they first come in working with us. And this really just depends upon what stage they're at and which level of program that they come in with.
Can I just say you're answering so many of the questions that we actually had
They're so
lined
good.
up. The information is like so good. When you say you pick specific clients, Lauren and I were speaking about this before, because it does depend what industry you are in. It does depend what your offering is. So do you have specific industries that you prefer working with, or is it very much just an individual person and what they are doing within any industry?
Yeah, this is also a really great question. Like my boyfriend is super analytical and very, very logical. And he was asking me this the other day. He was like, okay, but there must be some industries where they come in and then they are going to get like 10x returns within 2 weeks because of their market and because of their audience, etc. And so I spent some time really thinking about this because I wanted to give him a proper answer, And what I realized is that the differentiator between the clients at Impact School that do really, really well and those that we would advise, okay, check out this podcast, check out these resources, maybe do a little bit of something else before, is are they very, very good at what they do? Because if they can get their clients results, then we can get them results. And are they willing to change everything? So one of the things that my team will ask before even taking them onto an interview to see if this could be a partnership that we enter into is, what are the things that you're willing to change and what are the things that you're not willing to change? Because if they say, okay, well, I have this membership site and it's all automated and it's $7 a month and I'm not willing to change anything. I want to sell this. I want to scale this. Then I also want to have all of these different courses and all of these different things. If they're not willing to change their business model to be something that we know is going to be successful, then that's a big red flag for us, right? So these are just the kind of things that we ask. So are they willing to make changes? And secondly, are they good at what they do? So those are the things. So we will serve various different industries, but we also maintain our ethics. Okay. So if, for example, someone has a coaching program on how to build a very successful career in I don't know, something that's a little shady, right? Or something that not necessarily aligned with, we will not take them on as a client, even if we could make them very successful, right? I had one person company who has like an OnlyFans agency, right? And they wanted to launch an online course for women how to be successful in OnlyFans. And so my team member came to me and asked, like, should we take this on or should we not? This, again, this is just for me, right? I personally said no, I don't want to be involved with that. But fair enough, like, you know, they can go to somebody else and I know someone else can help them well. It's just we're very, very, very particular just because our reputation is everything for us. It's just not something that I want to be involved with, okay? Whatever, it's empowering women maybe, but maybe they're doing it for the wrong reasons, okay? As you like. So this is who we serve, people that have, you know, coaching programs, courses, agencies. They want to scale it big time, basically, and they have good ethics as well.
I just leaned over and said, Lauren, what is OnlyFans? I'm clearly like very naive in this area.
I'll give you a list of my faves. No, I could. So Lauren, we heard a story recently that you helped one of your clients from the fashion industry earn £105,000 in a single day, which is absolutely
amazing,
freaking insane.
It's a hell yeah moment.
It is a hell yeah moment.
We say hell yeah moments on this show.
Hell freaking yeah.
Hell yeah.
Toasting green
Cheers
juice. I love it so much. Can you tell us how and share a little bit of your process?
Of course, yeah. So this is something that I really believe when you're good at what you do, that you can attract this into your world. And I wish more people would think bigger as to what they can do. I was even speaking to a friend of mine the other day, and he was doing an equity scheme for one of his team members who he wants to bring on board as a partner. And I said to him, okay, just send me like the breakdowns and then I'll go through it and I'll analyze it. Because this is one of the things that on a more advanced level, we end up supporting our clients with often. And he said it so that at 50K per month profit, this is Aussie dollars, okay, this person's going to get this percentage. And at, you know, and at 75K, this percentage. And I was like, dude, you could do that in a day. Like, you don't set your goals so low. And he was saying to me, I just need to get into your level of abundance thinking. And I was thinking for a moment, how do I have such an abundance mindset and abundance way of thinking? And I don't have an exact answer, but let me tell you this. I'm here in Colombia right now. And as we were driving from the airport to the city's like within a valley, okay? And I just looked down and there are thousands and thousands of, like hundreds and thousands of millions of places to live. You just see it all. You see it all. There are so many people in this world. There are so many people that need help. And even if you have a very small section of an audience and a market, oh my gosh, the amount of money that actually is there for you to go ahead and make. And I think it really is a case that as you make money, you then realize how easy it is. It really is so easy. Like, it really is so easy if you want it to be. But I think many people don't allow it to be because they overcomplicate things. They add all this confusion to their business. They want to have all of these different courses and all of these different services and maybe even totally separate companies that they're trying to do at the same time. So they want a personal development course, and then they want to have a coaching program on how to be successful in the personal development industry when they've had like one 10K month in their life. And then they want to also have a real estate business all at the same time, you know? And so it's like, if they just stuck with that personal development business and made that ultra successful, and then that is their active company, then yeah, in the future, they could turn to more passive projects like real estate and such. But I must say, like, I'm not even doing that right now. I know that the best investment is myself and my business. So I'm doubling down and focusing on that. And I'm just putting more money back into that and the people that are in my company. And so to the point of how did my client end up making 105K in a day? So she was, again, doing all this different stuff when she came to us. She then focused on her one offer, which is not B2B, because everyone's always like, you can make more money if you're in the B2B space and you're selling how to make more money or how to have a successful company. No, she is helping women get into the luxury fashion industry. A lot of these girls who are her clients are like 20 old or 22 years old, right? And they want to get a job at like Dior, right? And be a marketing executive at Dior or something. And so this is what she does. And so how does she do it? Well, we first have sure that she had the confidence in her company and in her company's infrastructure. So what does that look like? Well, that means that as soon as she gets new leads, she knows that she's not just going on Instagram Live just for fun, right? She knows that on the back end, there's automation and team to pick up the leads that she brings in. So they send her a message and then they're like, hey, it's Anne here from Lot's team, da, 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 and then they'll start messaging, right? They won't be pretending to be her because she's on IG Live right now. They're not going to say, hey, it's Lottie here. No, that's not cool, right? That's not ethical. I used to do this myself a couple of years ago. I don't like it because especially then when you move into the position of empowering your team, right, and they're pretending to be you, they are terrified to screw up. This is not a good way to grow a company. People don't think this far ahead. You have to put yourself in your employees' shoes, okay? So then when they're themselves, if it's fine, you know, their manager or even you, if you're their manager at that point, you can jump in to fix the problem in the end. Oh, sorry, I just hired Andy, da, 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 whatever, right? Thank you for pointing that out to me that he maybe isn't a good fit for the team. Whatever, you can do that. So she had all the systems set up on the back end. Right? She had the infrastructure. She knew that she has a way to have a conversation with these people to actually then get them either onto a call or to enroll them as a client in the DMs. So one of the things that's really, really been very, very successful for us and for our clients is having an entire page whereby it breaks down exactly how you support your clients, right? This can actually exchange a sales call. So you might not need to have this call anymore. You send them the page, right? And they read through the page. They either like it or they don't, and then they can join. Okay. And so she decided to do a live session whereby she and her dad actually interviewed her. I don't know why she chose her dad, but she just did this thing. So she got her audience to show up. There was about 25 people there live on her live. So it's nothing big, nothing crazy, right? Like if I do this, I put pressure on myself. I need to have at least 2,000 people there. Otherwise I'm not satisfied, you know? She had 25. And then on the back end of that, she got them to send her a message if they wanted to join her program. And then various different people sent her a message. She then ended up having a conversation with them. She got on a call with a few, the ones that didn't close in the DMs who wanted to speak with her on a call. And then she was able to generate 105K pounds in one day. And that was when pounds was like around 125,000 US dollars. Pound is basically going to zero right now. But no, so this was this was a lot of money back then, like a couple months ago. So that's how she did it. It was nothing complicated. There was no crazy strategy. She didn't have a plan when she got on the call with her dad. Her dad literally just interviewed her about how she got her jobs in the fashion industry or something. And that's what she did. So, yeah.
Can I ask, because that is like an astounding story, and I think there are so many course creators, businesswomen who are going to hear this and go, what? That's insane, right? But what was the cost of her product offering, and how many people signed up after that conversation? Do you know?
So the math, I'm not going to be able to do. I have a rule, I don't do live maths, but her offering is 7K. So 7K. Well, actually, it was 7K when she first came to us. I think she increased it to 12 or 15. So yeah, it's a decently high ticket offer. She is very particular about getting clients to pay in full. And she makes this very clear on her social media on the front end. So she lets them know, when you're ready for me, then reach out. But she doesn't tolerate, just reach out if you want to connect. Like, she's very, very clear about that. And she has very good standards. And this isn't something that I advise for everybody, but she's in the position where she doesn't have a big team. I believe she's 5 of them on her team. So very, very, very lean. So just shows what kind of thing is possible. So yeah, I mean, I can't do the numbers like right away live, but let's say it was a 12K offer. I mean, it's less than 10 clients.
Amazing. Yeah. I think, a lot of coaches that we've come across, and also both selling online courses ourselves, you so often hear that you have to start with a really low ticket offer and then gradually step people up. But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you also started with a high ticket. So maybe you can speak to, firstly, how much are your offerings? And did you start there or did you work up? And even the mentality around the low ticket versus high ticket that it sounds like you're sharing with your clients.
I've sold everything ranging from $1 to 100K, right? So I've done, well, to be fair, like I've even sold 450K, but I got 100K upfront, right? So just to give you kind of clarity to all the different ranges. So I started fitness and I was selling, I guess back then you could call it high ticket fitness coaching. So that was really successful. That did really good. I then got shiny object syndrome. I saw all about these online courses, all these membership sites, yada, yada, yada. I then sold thousands of ebooks back in the day. Okay, this is a long time ago. A long time ago. And I didn't know about upselling back then.
How long ago?
This is like more than 5 years ago, right?
Okay.
So like in the internet marketing space, that's a long time, okay? So I didn't know about upselling. I didn't know about like funnels and all this type of stuff. And so I, unfortunately, if I'd have known, right, having sold thousands of ebooks, these are hot clients, hot customers, I would have been able to upsell them. I didn't like it because when you sell something low ticket, like $50, it was like $45 or $55 or pounds, should I say? Because I was only thinking England then. Then you don't feel the impact that you make on people. So you sell something low ticket and they buy it, and because it's so cheap, right? They forget to do it, or they do it and they don't really tell you because they're just in a Facebook group. And so it's not really much engagement. And so I didn't know about upselling. This whole thing happened whereby, I don't know if you guys know Gymshark, but basically me and my friends were all sponsored by Gymshark, and then Gymshark changed their strategy to sponsor fitness people that were like more mainstream rather than super fitness niche. So then I went back at that point to doing high ticket fitness coaching again because I knew, okay, I need to make more money. And then my friends started asking me like, Lauren, what is this that you're doing? Because they saw me posting it on my Snapchat. And then I told them and I shared with them, and then some of these guys made multiple 5 figures in their first couple of weeks because they had such big followings and they could just post one thing, sell a few people into it, and they just made so much money. And then I started getting invited to events all around the world to speak about social media marketing to sell coaching programs. And that was really interesting. And then, so to answer your question, low ticket, high ticket, yeah, I mean, look, if you want to make 6 figures a year, you could very, very easily just sell 3 companies, 33.33 for an entire year salary, right? To do whatever you want, whatever you need to do for them. And that's less than paying a full-time employee. You know what I mean? So like, if you can show that the value's there, that could be a very easy decision for a company to make, because it's much less than they'd be paying someone full-time, and you're likely more skilled. So it's just a different way about thinking about things. So yeah, I mean, I've sold everything under the sun. Every time Black Friday rolls around, my team are always like, okay, let's do a course launch for Black Friday. And I'm like, guys, we've been here. We're not doing this. This is torturous. This is hell. This is the worst thing in the world. So I like high ticket. Our lowest price offering right now is 16K. Sorry, that's extremely loud. But we do also go with some creative financing solutions for some people that come to us who really want to do it, but finances are the issue, whereby if we see that they're very good at what they do, we have some different offerings whereby sometimes they could put down, let's say, half now and then half once we double that you, as an example. It depends on who we're speaking to and what their own work ethic is like and what their potential is. And then our highest level thing right now is 100K. So yeah, we kind of operate on those different spectrums, and we'll be launching like a kind of CRM type back-end system thing for marketing and customer management, etc., for like $199 a month, but only because I have an entire team doing that who do not touch the rest of the business, and because I'm willing to now invest into that. But I would not advise that. I used to say like 100K per month, but now I'm like 500 because it is a lot of work.
So Lauren, there's 2 questions I actually want to ask you, because you've brought up aspects around them right now, and that is with you saying like you were only looking locally at first at your audience. So you obviously were focusing on England, and then you expanded out. How did you choose which territories or, in the world that you were going to focus on for yourself, for your course? And are you worldwide now, or do you still focus on specific territories?
If I could go back to the very beginning, what I would have done is I would have been way more selective about the countries which I do focus on. I think because it's online, we naturally go to, okay, I need to help everybody all in one go. Now, because when you grow your business organically, you tend to build an audience in your area first, just naturally, it's, I guess, how the algos work. And then it expands beyond that. I was charging in pounds, which meant I naturally attracted people that wanted to pay in pounds because I also spoke about pounds, right? So I would post and I say Snapchat because like back then IG stories wasn't a thing. So I would be like on my Instagram stories talking about healthy meal prep or something. And I'd be like, okay guys, I'm gonna show you healthy meal prep in Tesco, right? And then we'd go, it's an English supermarket, you know? And we'd go to Tesco and we'd look at, okay, here's some Greek yogurt, it's £2.49, right? And so like if somebody American sees that, they're just gonna kind of skip straight through it because what is Tesco and like what is this funny sign? Because you'd be amazed, but actually like now I have many people who work at Impact School living in America. I mean, I one time had this sales girl and she no longer works with me, but she was on a sales call and I was doing a review and she says, yeah, so the investment is, and then whatever it was back then, British dollars. And I was like, what did you say? She was literally saying dollars instead of pound. And like, I'm just so cringing so bad right now. Because if you say that to someone, if you're like speaking in a really like American accent and you say like that's British dollars, like, and by the way, I love American and most of my best friends are from the US, but it really doesn't sound good to a British person. That does not sound good. So that was really interesting. And it made me realize how, for example, in the USA, the perspective is like all about the USA. You don't necessarily think about outside the country because America's so big, right? It's like if you listen to audiobooks written by US authors, they always speak about like stats and they will quote US stats. They don't tend to look worldwide, which is really quite interesting. So to your point, I never really thought about this. I never thought about, shall I target the UK? Shall I target like worldwide? I just, because I grew my audience organically, like it just happened to be worldwide. So we target everywhere in the world clients. We support them in the English language, but we have many clients. Like I do have people on my team who speak Spanish. So there are actually some people who get coached in Spanish, which is interesting. And kind of crazy to think about because like my English is terrible, but it's pretty cool just to see what my team have just built kind of on their own. So yeah, English speaking, that's it really.
English speaking. But then how does that, because if you're all over the world, how does that affect your price point? Or do you have different price points for different territories? Do you know what I mean? Because obviously money's value is different. You know, the pound is a different value to the dollar, is a different value to the South African rand.
Right. Yeah, it's a great point. So I was just in Argentina and I met this girl who, she was just telling me about like how much she charges and everything. And because the peso in Argentina is like really bad and it's literally changing every week. So she has to keep updating her prices every week. So it's kind of crazy. We do US dollars, but we're actually always increasing our prices as well. So I totally hear you. I hear what you're saying. I personally like going by the US dollar because it is the global currency. It just is. Now, to your point, I've had it where people are from South Africa, as an example, and they're just saying like it's just too expensive for them to join. And so I'm like, well, the good thing is when you start working with us at Impact School, you're going to be able to operate on a global playing field. So it's no longer going to be an issue for you. Like I have this one client, Katarina, who comes to my mind, and she helps people who have art businesses scale their art company and sell it for more high get. And like when she came to us, I think she was making the equivalent of around $3,000 per month, which in rand is decent money, right? And so now I just saw this testimonial from her client. Like one of her clients sold their one piece of art for 450K USD, right? And I think this person's in South Africa as well. Yeah, so now she's making, I don't even know how much she's making now, honestly, per month. Like I don't have that stat in front of me, my team have that. But she's making good money per month, like at least multiple 5 figures, maybe even multiple 6 figures now. I'm not 100% sure. But to your point, I think this is just a limiting belief. frankly. I really do. Because she could have said, yeah, but, and this was her objection that she had before she became a client. Like, I'm in South Africa, I can't afford to get in. Okay? She then found a way to get in, and now she operates on a global playing field. So you can use it to your advantage or disadvantage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now she can use that flip and operate in a different world. So yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No. I love that you said that because I agree with you completely. So I charge in dollars, but I do still create a special price for South Africans just because
your heart is here.
My heart. Yeah.
Let's be honest. But I love that perspective.
Yeah.
So, Lauren, I actually first came across you on Clubhouse, and I was struck by, of course, your knowledge and how freely you share information, which is why we were so excited to interview you, but also by how much freaking time you were spending on Clubhouse. And I was like, how is she investing this energy, effort, and time into her organic audience building? And so I know now that that is actually what you typically help your clients with as well, rather than paid. But I'd like to dig into that a little bit. What are some of the strategies that have worked best for you in terms of building that audience, or best for your clients?
Yeah, can I add to that? Because I'd really love to know, because this is something Lauren and I were talking about, is like, what is the most affordable, most effective marketing strategy that you've found at the moment? And when I say affordable, I do take time into account, because if we think about time is units of money as well, in a way.
Totally, yeah, 100%. So it's really interesting. I shifted my company from being a marketing-focused company to a sales-focused company. And that's when we started massively increasing the cash collected that we were generating each month. So rather than focusing a load of time on me supporting marketing team, I spend my time coaching my sales team. So I think if I was going back to the beginning and I was doing it all again from scratch, I used to only do marketing. I didn't do sales. I thought, oh, well, the client's just going to come to me. I'll just go live. I'll just post on Instagram. I'll go on Snapchat. I'll post my stories, etc. If I could, would have just made some really solid evergreen pieces of content whereby people could see I knew what I was talking about. And then I would have simply focused on then building a team of people who could go out to my audience and then start conversations with them one-on-one. Right? And then throughout those conversations, send the organic content in the conversation to deepen the relationship, so that then I'm using the marketing asset, which is the long form piece of content, as an asset in my sales process. And then I would have started like interviewing my clients and posting that as my marketing. Sorry, that is really, really loud. So I would have spent more time interviewing. I would have spent more time interviewing my clients and posting that as long form content to then grow my brand. So it's really interesting, this question, because it's not something that I've spent a lot of time thinking about at all recently, if I'm perfectly honest. I just don't really think about that. I think, okay, how can we get out quality interviews with clients? But then if it's the very beginning, I think, actually, and I know this is what we do with our clients, brand new, starting from scratch. They get the evergreen pieces of content out on YouTube. They make it keyword friendly, high likelihood of SEO. Then obviously you can leverage shorts as well and reels, to get some value out there to actually get some growth. And then have somebody like a virtual assistant, or in the beginning, do it yourself. Because in the beginning, doing the unscalable things is then going to be what allows you to scale. I learned that from Reid Hoffman. And so I would then voice note the people that were engaging with my reels that were getting massive growth, starting the conversation, and then I'd make them a specific offer tailored to them, so that then I could actually bring in cash and then hire someone to start doing that for me. That's what I would do.
Very cool.
Such good advice.
Yeah, it's great.
And also something that, also being of a marketing background, it's interesting that you say that, because that's exactly how my organization has also shifted much more towards sales. And I actually think my experience in marketing kept me doing the wrong thing for too long, because it's what I knew.
Yes. So true. That is so true. Yeah. And like a lot of, especially in the more female entrepreneurship space, there's a really bad reputation of DMing. Like, it just has such a bad reputation right now. Everyone's like, it's so masculine, you shouldn't be chasing down clients. But actually, I believe it's beautiful when you start one-on-one intimate conversations with people with no agenda. Like, you literally just start. And for example, I have people on my team reaching out saying, hey, we're just planning our content for the year 2023. How can we best support you? You know, I see you're following Lauren. Like, what would you like to see next year so we can map it out? They start sharing what they want because that's what their goals are and that's what their problems are. And then if it makes sense, then you can actually enter into a sales conversation. So it can happen really organically that way, but it can also be happening from, sense that you are reaching out to add value, and it's very, very powerful. So.
Lauren, we could literally speak to you for hours, but we do have to wrap. So I think we'll just leave it with a final question, which is, you are in a business that a lot of people want to be in, the knowledge business, not only because it can be wildly profitable, but also because of the impact that you can then have on your clients. So if you were just to give one piece of advice to our listeners today, what would that be?
Just do one thing. Don't try and have multiple different offerings, multiple different courses, etc., etc. Have one, sell it for a high ticket price point. So a scary price for you. So if it feels like it's too expensive, that's a good sign. And then double that. And then from there, sell that one-on-one until you've mastered the process of selling it. And on the front end, let people know, hey, look, I'm new to this, right? I want to have you come in, give me feedback, and then let's work together until you get the result, and work with that client until they actually get the result. And then from there, you're going to have something really, really solid, which works, that you're then going to be able to sell with extreme, extreme confidence, and change lives. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for having me. This has been so amazing. I love your energy, and what you're doing with your audience is so, so powerful. And I'm just blessed to be here. So thank you so much.
It's been so amazing having you on the show, Lauren. Thank you so much for making the time. It's really been so informative. I'm going to rewatch this and make notes.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Really, really appreciate it. Have a beautiful one. And to all of our listeners, we'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah. Bye for now.